So do you want to reload 9mm fast? Today I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm Paul and this is Adventures in Fabrication. Please remember to subscribe. I have now reloaded over 100,000 rounds. I started out with a Dillon 650 and within a month I realized that getting my hand out of the way when placing a bullet on top of the case was the limiting factor in how fast I could reload. So I purchased a Mr. Bullet feeder. Now I realized loading primers was really slowing me down. I got really lucky because Christmas was coming up and Santa brought me a Dillon RF 100 and that solved that problem. I could now reload about 600 rounds before I would start getting tired. I had now become the limiting factor in reloading throughput. So I purchased a Dillon 1050. The 1050 requires about 20% less effort to reload than the Dillon 650. I reloaded with this setup for about another year. However, I quickly learned that I again had become the limiting factor in performance. I just get tired. The Mach 7 had come out and proven a reliable auto drive, so I purchased one. I run the Mach 7 at 2100 rounds per hour. I get a true throughput of about 1600 rounds an hour. The difference being is you have to stop and reload primers. I also found that to keep this press running most efficiently, you had to buy a number of different accessories. I'll go over those accessories in just a bit, but here's about a minute of video showing the press running at several different angles. With an auto drive, you no longer stand over the press, so you really can't monitor the amount of powder being dropped. My solution was to buy a $15 endoscope off of eBay and hook it up to my old laptop. This gave me the ability to see the amount of power being dropped in each case. You become accustomed to seeing the correct level, and if there is a gross problem, you can then stop and fix it before you make 100 bad rounds. One of the well-known problems with the 1050s is shells jamming when being fed into the shell plate. A gentleman has come up with a reprofiled cam lever that fixes the problem. He sells them on eBay for about $15 shipped. I highly recommend them. Stopping to reload primers is the #1 cause of lost throughput. You really don't want to reload primers while the press is running. It's very dangerous. So what I did is purchase an extender tube, so I can now load 200 primers at a time. You also need an effective and safe method to monitor the case and bullet pins. My solution to this problem was to mount plastic mirrors overhead. Two of the critical accessories for the Mach 7 are the optical decapping sensor and the ringer detector. The optical sensor detects when a spent primer is decapped and goes down the tube. If one is not detected, it will shut down the press. It works really only about 95% of the time. The ringer detector monitors the pressure on the swage bar and will detect if there is a spent primer still in the case. This works about 100% of the time. Without these sensors, you are basically guaranteed at some time to send a case with a spent primer in it to the priming station and getting a bang. Ask me how I know. You also want to get the remote shut-off button for the Mach 7 so you don't have to hover over the monitor. With an auto drive, you'll accumulate a lot of spent primers fast, so you'll really want a remote disposal container. And finally, The most important new accessory is a comfortable chair.
Is this set up for everybody? Realistically, no. You'll be reloading for 60,000 rounds. That means your labor will be free for 60,000 rounds. I recommend, if you're only going to load up to 6,000 rounds a year, just buy ammo, factory ammo. You'll be happier. 6 to 20,000 rounds, get a Dillon 650 or 1050 with a Mr. Bullet Feeder and an RF 100. Then, if you break the 20,000 round mark, consider this setup.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.